What's going on? Happy Happy Tuesday, everyone. What is April the 28th? We are almost in May. I don't know what 2026 got going on, but honey, she said let's get the fuck up out of here. I hope everyone is doing good. I'm not going to hold you all long because our guest is ready. Couple of house announcements. Um, I don't have what's going on. This Sunday in Atlanta is Mr. and Miss Black Continental at Large. And if you are in the area, please go support P. Jasmine and Black Butterflies. Sometimes Ghetto, always fabulous event. I'm a former 2008. I don't know if I'll be there this year, but if you are, please go support our pageants and those contestants. And then this past weekend was Black Gay Houston. And Everyone knows what happened over there, but congratulations to everyone that was involved and how everything got rectified and solved and all of that. Adicia, as well as, I don't know his name on stage, but Dion, something of that nature. Congratulations to you. And then there was a MBU prelim this Sunday. Congratulations to the winners over there and to Katrina on her first prelim. And yeah, it's just pageants everywhere. So we can't keep up with all of them, but the ones we can't keep up with, we like to announce. Don't forget that this August the 2nd is the People's National Pageant honoring Rico Chappelle and myself. It will be in Concord, North Carolina. August the 2nd. Presentation is All That Glitters in Black, 80% gown, sportswear, talent, and interview. If you need any questions, reach out to the People's page or any of us, Rico, myself, Derlin, and we'll be more than happy to um, answer any questions. So that's coming up in about 3 months. It's been a very interesting year. Very interesting year. What else is coming up? Diamond of the South will be in May. Diamond of the South newcomer and plus. So reach out to the Dots people, CJ, I think is it Nehemiah, Trinity Bonet or Wendell, Janaya. Yeah, so if you need information on that, so many other universe prelims coming up. So listen, whatever you want to be, you can go be. You can go be anything these days. There's plenty of pageants for you to join and systems to be a part of. Don't forget that I Do It for the People Scholarship is still going on. I have about 6 more HBCUs that I have to go to in order to reach my goal of 25, but we still have that scholarship going until July the 1st, 11:59. Send in proof that you are enrolled in or will be enrolled in the HBCU for the 2026-2027 school year. What's up, Jasmine? You have a 2.5 or higher GPA. You can do a unofficial transcript with that and just answer the question why you deserve the scholarship. We've gotten a lot of applications, if you want to say, but a lot of them have been coming from, well, I would presume the cis heterosexual community because it's a lot of girls. And I don't know, they may be a part of the L, but really not a lot of community. And I don't know if that's because it's secluded to just HBCUs, but I haven't gotten a lot of people that are in community wise. But everyone else is like young girls, young cisgender girls. So yeah, shouts out to Sheria Price. She'll be coming up shortly in a couple of weeks. The price is always right. That bitch is expensive. And shouts out to Ebony International is coming up this summer. And if you need any information, you can hit up Bambi as well as Ebony. North America's coming up. Get your blue together. Yeah, it's just, y'all, look, it's somewhere for everybody. Just go and have fun and win your pageant. Tabulators, make sure you're adding the scores right. Judges, do your job and just have fun. Reign, 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 reign supreme. I'm going to bring on our guest because I don't know why he's nervous, but he's been tagging all day and inboxing saying he's nervous. And hey, Morgan. Oh, Memphis in the house because Memphis is in the house. And so I'm going to bring on our guests. We love when they're prompt and stuff. Let's see. He is Mr. Nio. The chat. What's going on?
What's going on, Trey? How are you? Hello,
How are
everyone.
you?
I am well. I am well. I'm doing great. What about
Are
yourself?
you are you zenning? Have you calmed down?
I think so. I got some stuff right here to help me keep myself together. Yeah, I think we
What you
gonna be
what you
good.
got to help you keep yourself together?
Man, I got me a little drinky drink right
Oh,
here.
okay.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
so
Whatever
so
you need to
yeah.
do to keep yourself in good spirits.
Yeah, we gonna be good.
Yes, guys, make sure that you share the live so we can get Neo's story out. Of course, it'll stay up 30 days on Facebook and it'll always be on YouTube so that anyone can go back and watch. Neo, Wendell and I started this December of 2023. We
Right.
wanted to kind of bring positivity to Facebook, especially after pageant days. And we wanted to talk to our icons, our legends, our veterans and stuff. So I want to say thank you for giving me this hour or so of your time. I know you was like, it's about time. But we got you in. That's all that matters
I'm in
because
there.
we definitely want to connect generations, a lot of people may not necessarily know who Neo Braxton Dickerson is, or they may only know you from stage or from your title. So if we, even myself and your audience, can learn one thing about you, I think that we've done our job here on this show. So thank you for stopping by and talking to me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to start off with just something, the icebreaker. You know, we don't really. I spoke with Sassy Divine last week, and I said I was going to start asking this question at front because a lot of times we don't ask our peers and our brothers and our sisters this question. We just move on with life. But how are you? We have a lot going on in the world. Administration, crazy president, rights trying to be taken away from LGBT blacks or whatever. How is Neo dealing with all of this that is going on in the world?
Well, I honestly have to say prayer. You know, I can just continue to stay prayed up. You know, that's something that my mother always taught me, and I just take it one day at a time. Honestly, one day at a time. That's the only thing that we really can do is just take it one day at a time. You know, you can't really be too worried and living in fear. You know, you can't live in fear because you just can't. Life is too short for that. So I just pray and I take it one day at a time. Literally, that's how I'm doing. I have my ups and my downs. I have good days. I have bad days. But for the most part, I just take it one day at a time.
Okay. When you hear your name mentioned with the greats in maybe a legendary status or a seasoned veteran, what does that do to you?
Um, it flatters me, and it makes me feel appreciated, and also makes me reminisce on where I came from and how I started.
Mhm. Do you accept it or do you humbly just say, okay, if that's what you want to give me? Or do you own it? Like, okay, yeah, that's me.
I think it's a mixture of all three sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
But for the most part, I humbly accept it because a lot of people aren't given that. So when I hear it, I do feel grateful for it.
Mhm. Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
Start from the beginning. Take us back to the your roots. Talk to us about life growing up, what things you were involved in, or things that you got in trouble for as a kid. Give us a little journey through that for us.
Okay, growing up, it was me and my two sisters and my mother. I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, and my grandfather,
Mhm,
which is my mom's parents. My dad he left our life pretty early, so him and my mom separated when I was about 8. But even when he was there, he wasn't.
mhm,
Um, because he was an alcoholic. So my mom tried to, deal with that as long as she could, and then they finally separated. So then it was me, my mom, my two sisters, and my grandparents for the most part. Um, Growing up, I was the oldest. I was the jokester. I was the prankster. I harassed all the kids. I got in trouble for teasing and vexing the children all the time, pranking them, making them drink hot sauce. I mean, I was just horrible. I was horrible. I was a horrible big brother. But I mean, we've all grown to love each other. So I got in trouble a lot for just taunting the kids a lot because I
mhm,
was just the oldest and I taunted them a lot, but I was a protector too. So I protected everyone. I could do that to them, but no one else could.
mhm,
Um, After my mom's and dad's separation, she turned to drugs really bad.
mhm,
So she was in the streets for over 2 decades, in and out of the house. You know, my grandmother was the sole provider of me and my sisters, but she always encouraged me never to be like her. And by the time she got to the situation that she got in, as far as being on drugs, I was about 9. So I had already grown to love and know who my mother was before then. She
mhm,
was active in the church. She was a songstress. That's where I got my voice from. Actually, this music note is actually has her ashes in it because I
mhm,
actually put it on for the interview so she could be a part of this journey with me. Um, and when she went into the street, so it was my and my grandmother. So me and my grandparents were extremely close, and they're the ones who I would have to pay homage to for getting me to where I needed to be when she wasn't there. They took care of me, they shielded me, and that's just they're my heroes.
mhm.
Um, Getting out of a little older, so out of high school, when I started to venture out into this lifestyle, I came out in 1999.
Hmm.
Just to backtrack a little bit, high school was very hard for me. I
Okay.
actually failed my senior year because I started messing with someone in high school that I thought I could trust, and they spread it around the entire school, and it completely ruined me. So I stopped coming to school. Like I literally like stopped coming to school. So I had to go to summer school to graduate. I did not
Right.
graduate with my class.
Okay.
So but I did go back and I was able to get that done, but I was completely traumatized with that. So move fast forward out of high school, I came out to the club to Club Incognito. Do you remember Incognito from Memphis?
I remember hearing of it. I don't know if I ever was.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
was the club. Still today, that's still my favorite club, Incognito. And I came out to that club, and the first thing that I remember seeing was I think it was Tandy on
Hmm.
stage. When I walked in, she was on stage doing a number. And for some reason, I know I'm not alone in this, but I was so terrified of drag queens at the time. I was terrified of them because I was new. So I was terrified of them. And of course I was a new face. So they were coming up to me and they were speaking and other things. I was mortified. Um, but I knew that I felt comfortable in that setting, if that makes sense, around other people that were like me.
Hmm.
Um, but I was terrified of them in that moment.
Okay.
Um, and the rest is history. I got there. I met with people, Stanisha, who actually groomed me and brought me out into the pageant arena. Her and Demoris, which is D St. James, the late D St. James, and the rest is history. I started my pageant career in 2001, winning Mr. Flawless Newcomer up until now.
Okay. So let's go back to some key points that you made. First,
Okay.
you said your mom stepped out and she became a part of another life. What lesson did you learn about yourself when you saw your mom basically go from one transition to another of who she was to you or who she appeared to be? What was the biggest thing you learned about yourself? I'm sure you had to, being so young, you had to kind of grow up fast with that,
I grew
right?
up extremely fast. I grew up
Mhm.
extremely fast. So I'm glad that you made that point. So when she turned to that life, I had to step in and help my grandmother out with all because I was the oldest. So
Mhm.
I was taking my grandmother to work, coming back home, getting everyone else up for school and all that at 15. I didn't even have a driver's license.
Mm.
I was doing all of that then, and I definitely grew up fast. But the one thing that I learned about myself was is that I was an extremely strong person,
Mhm.
and I've taken that throughout my entire life from that moment. And that's what I realized, that I'm an extremely strong person.
Right. So, and then another point I want to bring up, you said that your senior year you were messing with someone and they spread it around. Now, were you mortified because you hadn't came out, or talk to us about that? What made it
Okay, so
so embarrassing?
when I said messing with him, I was just only talking to him because I wasn't. Would have been my junior year in high school, so I wasn't sexual or anything at that time yet.
Okay.
But I was just hanging with him because I knew that he was like me, and I trusted him with talking to him about certain things and things that I liked and things of that nature. And he just came back to school and he liked me, but again, I wasn't in. I knew that what I liked, but I was scared. You know how it is when you're first coming out, so I didn't want to be in a relationship or anything like that. And I think that he took offense to that, so he just went ham on me. And
Mm.
so everyone was, coming at me, asking me stuff, whispering and spreading rumors about me and all this type of stuff. And at the time, I was 16. I couldn't take it. I
Mm.
couldn't take it.
Do you happen to still have any type of communication and or relationship with that person today, or?
No, that person's deceased now.
Okay, okay, okay. Well,
Mhm.
rest his soul.
Yeah.
But in that, were you embarrassed or you didn't know how to take it because you was it something that your family had not found out and you were scared to come out, or was something they may have not approved of? Tell us about that.
So I was scared to come out, but it wasn't because I felt that my family wouldn't approve of it. I just didn't want to let them down.
Hmm.
So it was fear of me disappointing them. But child, they knew. I didn't like sports. I was always neat. I did not want to get dirty. I was always primping and pressing to make sure I was always together. I mean, They knew. My granddad told me that he knew, oh my God, when I was about 5, 6, because
Mhm,
I was neat from the beginning. Never he
mhm.
tried to put me in football once. He spent like $200, and back then $200 is equivalent to probably $2,000 at this time, because it
Right.
was in the '80s. And he spent about $200 on a football uniform and all that. I went to one practice, and one of them boys tackled me and threw me on the ground and got my brand new uniform dirty. I was like, "Oh my dad, baby, no,
Uh-uh.
this is
Okay.
it, this is it."
Well,
So they knew.
when they finally found out or confirmed, basically, how was that? Was it accepting or was it, you know?
My grandmother and grandfather were very old school. It was very don't ask, don't tell.
Okay.
Like we know, just my mother was a little bit different, because even though again my mother had a different life, we had a bond that was just unbreakable, and it got to a point sometimes that my grandmother was so disappointed with her that she would almost like try to turn us against her because of what she was doing, but it just wouldn't work for
Mhm.
me because it was my mom and the bond was so tight. um so one day when I told my mom, when I finally came out to my mom, I was 19. I never forget that I was 19, and I was taking her to the store. And then I just was driving. I said, "Mom, you know I'm gay, right?" She was like, "Boy, I'm your mama." Yes. And literally after that, we started talking about something else, and that was it. That
Okay.
was it. That's literally how that happened. It's crazy.
Okay. That's good. That's good that you were able to just have an easy breezy transition to that. Speaking of your mom, we all remember the tragedy that you went through full with your mom or what happened to her. How did you deal with that then, and how are you dealing with it now?
Then at the time, I was surrounded by family, which really, really um, helped me through that time. My lover at the time, Sydney, was there. My cousin Jasmine was there. And as soon as it happened, I was in Memphis when it happened, and Sydney had just flown in that morning. We were supposed to have dinner with mom that evening, and I had took her to the grocery store a couple of days before that, and um, we got the call that it had happened or whatever. And in that moment, I kind of blacked out.
Mm,
But we got in the car and we went to, because she was only about maybe 15 minutes from where I was staying, because she was living in an apartment complex about 15 minutes from where I was staying at my cousin Jasmine's house. We got there, and I called D, Demoris. I called D and told him what happened. He literally got in his car and drove to Memphis
mm,
instantly. And he was with me the entire time. And it's just so crazy how life does, because he eulogized my mother. And then a little over a year or so ago, I had to make sure that he looked his best for his final viewing.
mhm,
Um, so it's been tough. It really has been tough, and I still have days when it's really tough for me.
mhm,
It
mhm.
is. So how I handle it a lot of time with that too, I just, I believe it or not, when I have those really heavy days, I just rest,
Okay.
because it helps me to reset.
Are your grandparents still in
Oh
existence?
no, oh
Okay.
no.
Okay.
My grandmother I lost in 2008, and
Okay.
I knew she would have lived forever, because she was just a picture of health, and she was the woman of steel, but she got sick, and she left rather quickly because she refused chemo or anything like that, because she was ready to go.
Mm,
Um, my grandfather, he lived another 5 years. I lost him in 2013.
okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's just you and your sisters now.
Me, my sisters, and we had two cousins that grew up in the house with us too. So all
Okay.
of us.
I got you. All
Mhm.
right. So I thank you for that. I know that could have been a sensitive subject, but we definitely send
I
you
did
hugs
good. I did
and we
good. I
send you
did good.
love, so that you can always get through that. Today is actually my grandmother's birthday, so I understand the grief process of
Yes.
things. But yeah, but thank you for that.
Yes.
You went into the club, child, and you were scared of the girls, and
Scared of
you
y'all.
didn't know what to do and what to say,
No.
but you
No.
quickly became a part
Hmm.
of the Memphis, I call it mafia.
Okay. Huh.
Talk to us about how you actually became the Neo Dickerson or Neo Braxton Dickerson? How did that even come about? From going to the club, seeing the girls and the kids in the shows, to actually now you're on the stage.
Okay, so we're gonna dive deep now. So before there was Neo, there was Trinity.
Ah!
So I came in and I was scared of the girls. And within about maybe a year's time, I wanted to be one of the girls. Okay.
Y'all see how that happened?
Yeah. so that's how that so my name was Trinity St. James Dupree. Um and I wanted to compete in female pageants. That's how I started off. My first two shows were as a female. The first show that I did was something that I saw Raquel Lord do. She came to Memphis. Um, for one of the holiday weekends, and she started off with Rolls Royce Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
Hmm.
And she went into another song. I forgot what her mix was. Raquel, if you're on here, if you probably don't remember because it's been ages ago. Um, but when I did my first number, I at the time Savannah was making stuff for me, and she lived in Jackson, Mississippi. So me and Stanisha, we drove to Jackson, had my dress made because I've always been extremely anal. I've always wanted, pretty much wanted my own things. I've always been that way from the beginning. Um, and I always had this thing, and it's so weird. I've always had this thing about when I see um boy queens, I guess, or trans girls when they have on open toe shoes and they have on all the stockings and their toes aren't showing. I've always hated that. I always hated that.
We
So
call
even
them
when I
Barbie feet.
I
Barbie
hate
feet.
I call them Barbie doll feet. I hate those. So and if anybody that's on here that's watching that has Barbie doll feet, I don't hate you. It's just it's just a pet peeve for
It's the
me.
look of it. I get it. Yeah.
Yes, because when you see that, when you to me in my head, when you saw my feet through one pair of stockings, I had a real body.
Yeah.
I didn't have Barbie doll feet.
Okay, so the delusion is coming in. All right.
Yes, you get what I'm saying. So Stanisha was like, I said, I want these shoes, I want that. And she said, these open toe shoes. I said, yeah, we're gonna cut my stockings off, and then I'm just gonna have on one pair at the bottom so my toes can show. I had my toes done and everything. Like this was just a new
Right.
thing. Um, but I did that show, and it was amazing. And if you may know, you know Gino Nautica Dupree. She did
Yes, yes,
university.
of course.
That was my idol then, because she was my big sister. She was Tanisha's first child, and then there
Mhm.
was me. So we were the two at the time. It was
Okay.
only two of us at that time. So I looked up to Nautica. So she helped me with the number and everything. It went amazing. And after that, I knew that I wanted to compete. So I started to prepare. Demoris, D, and Stanisha helped me to start get ready for Miss Jackson Newcomer in Jackson, Mississippi. That was going to be my first pageant.
Hmm.
I got there. We had practiced talent. I was gonna do bag lady for talent. Hey Tommy, I was gonna do bag lady for talent. I had like all these bags and all this stuff. So D had put the talent together. It was real cute.
Hmm.
And they had a review show the night before, and Stanisha had a ticket that she didn't pay, and she got pulled over coming to
Oh,
Jackson.
I know too much about that.
Oh my goodness!
Tanisha.
And she, Mama, don't kill me. I gotta do this. So she had a ticket, so she had a warrant for the ticket.
Oh,
And then so they took her down. It was like, and it was on the weekend, and then and the pageant was the next night. But she, back then, I don't even know if it's now. If you go to jail like on Friday or Saturday, you're not
you're not
getting out
going
until
to
like
court till
Monday.
Monday.
So the pageant was coming up, and she didn't get out. So Savannah was in Jackson, and all of my stuff was there. And Savannah was like, "Well, I can still put you in the pageant. Uh, I can paint you. Da da da." I just didn't feel comfortable doing it without my mom there. I said no.
Right. Right.
So I
Okay.
said no, I'm not gonna do it. I did the review show the night before. I did Jill Scott. He loves me. And do you remember Takesha Iman Barbecue?
I do.
So Barbecue gave me a dress to wear for the review shows, this red and black dress that Savannah made with the roses on it, whatever. I wore that and did Jill Scott. Savannah painted me that night. I really didn't like it.
Okay.
So, but I didn't want to tell him, and I was like, I'm not going to look like this tomorrow in the pageant. So I don't really like this. So I'm not doing it anyway. If mom's not here, I'm not doing it. So the next day came, and I was like, if she's going to be out, it was like, I don't think so. I was like, well, I'm not doing the pageant, and I never did the contest. So um, shortly after that, mom's birthday was coming up, Stanisha. And it was in Jackson. She was going to have a big birthday show in Jackson. And it was at this time, it was about four of us. And all of us wanted to be girls. It was me, Nautica, I want to say China. And I want to say his name is Onyx now.
Hmm.
But she had to do all of our makeup because none of us could do nothing. We were completely
Hmm.
helpless. And she looked at me when it was, when she was ready for the show and stuff. Before the thing, she looked at me. She said, "You gonna be a boy?" I said, "Why
Okay.
I gotta be a boy?" I said, "Why I gotta be a
Like it's
boy?
a
I don't
bad
want to be a
thing.
boy." I said, "Why me?" I said, Why when you can't?" So she was like, "You gonna be a boy? You gonna do boy shows?" And to this day, I tell her, thank you. I really do. Because I tell her that I don't know where I would be had she not made that decision for me at that time. Because my mind was so far gone. Like I wanted this done. I wanted this. I really felt like I wanted, because I didn't want to wear pads. I didn't want to wear nut stuffing. I didn't. So my mind at that time, I felt like I did want to really turn into a girl
you
at that
you
time.
you you would have made the mistake that a lot of our elders in that generation only transitioned for
Absolutely.
shows and not because you felt like a
Absolutely.
woman. Thank
Absolutely.
God you didn't do that. Because
Absolutely.
as you
And
can
I
see,
have
they are
Stanisha,
miserable
and
now.
I have Stanisha to thank for that. I know I told him you went to jail, mom, but thank you for me not being a tranny. Uh,
Okay, so that is where Neo was born after
that is
that.
where Neo was born. But actually he wasn't Neo at the time. His name was Ziari at the time.
Ziari.
It was Z. I named myself Z hyphen Yari. It was Ziari Dupree at the time.
Okay.
So um and so how Neo was born. Do you remember Miss Jessie? Do you remember Naja from
I
back
don't know
then?
if I remember Naja.
Okay, she was one of the dancing divas from Memphis too. Naja was very geeky and nerdy, but she could dance, and she was very like, hi guys. She was very much like that. But anyway, the movie The Matrix had just
Ah,
came out.
Trinity Neo.
Yes. So she said your name should be Neo because your girl name was Trinity, and Neo was in love with Trinity in the Matrix. So that's
Oh,
how Neo
okay.
came.
Oh, look how that. And so now, when you do get in, every now and then, you just go back to your alter
I
ego.
go to Trinity, the one who Neo is in love with.
Well, let me ask you this though: do you ever look back, and we know that you have soared as Neo, but do you ever look back and kind of have maybe a little regret, or what if you would have stayed as Trinity?
Personally, I honestly feel like if I had stayed her, I feel like I would have probably still won the stuff that I won. Um,
Just as Trinity.
mhm.
Okay.
I do. I do
Okay.
because I was very determined. When I see certain girls that went on to do it, I see myself in some of them.
Okay.
Armandis actually kind of like put a fire back in me, like silently a little bit at one point when he did his transition and was switching over because he does them both so well. He reminds me of myself.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
Neo, take a 3 second break. Fill your cup up. I need to run upstairs and get the charger. But take a
Absolutely.
take a second.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, here I come. All right. So that's good to know that you would have at least gave it a little shot to still be Trinity a little bit.
Mhm.
I could only imagine how your reigns would be if. How do you think the Trinity brand would have been though? Talk to us about that for a second.
I think that she would have been pretty much a version of Neo. She was going to be extremely polished because my idols were. uh, Raquel, Stasha at the time, and to me they were extremely polished, and
Hmm.
Stanisha, of course, my mother, at the time was extremely polished for what we had and what we knew.
Hmm.
But people outside of the city, I think that my brand would have been, um, I think I would have made an impact in the community as Trinity. I really do.
I think that that you would have been very, very sexy. I think, yeah, I think that would have been. But you know what, Neo? It's never too late.
I, Yeah, I think it might be too late now.
You
Even
think it's too
though
late for
he,
you to
he,
start? Okay, I
he,
get. Okay,
he,
I get it.
he,
I get it.
I'll never say it's too late, because when I did Giselle's, when I did the Money's one night only show, um, I got a lot of pushback about, you need to do Miss Black Universe. Just do it one year. Just do Miss Black Universe. Just do it. And then when I did Giselle's show, the Turnabout show, and won the 3K, they were
Hmm.
like, we really, if we all get together and like sponsor you, will you like do a girl pageant? I'm just like, it for a minute, honestly, I ponder on it. I really
Hmm.
did, because it is something that I started and didn't finish, and I hate not finishing things.
Hmm.
um However, at this point in my life, I feel like it's too late, only because I know that if I won, which I probably would if I give it my all the way that I
Hmm.
know that I would with preparing, I don't want to be in drag all year.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. It would be a lot,
and
especially if you
and the
was
way
in
and the
certain
way
systems.
that I kind of, not frown upon, but when we have boy queens that when they show up more and more looking like a boy than like who
Mhm.
they won as, I'm like, why?
It
Why
it
should
it ma- it takes the illusion away of who you
it
actually
takes it away? Like, who's the Mister and who's the Miss?
are. Gotcha.
So me personally, if I did, go on to win a female pageant, I would go the extra mile. I would always be her at big events and stuff. I would always be her, and that would take a lot out of me at this point in life with my career and all.
Gotcha. Totally understand. Well, your fans are definitely thinking that you should. So if you ever give it a shot, listen, just to see what you could have
Listen,
created through a pageant.
you tell those damn fans, if I did do that, I'm not spending nothing. Y'all have to help me with that, because y'all know Trinity has a very big, elaborate mind, and I would have
She
to turn
does.
that. I would have to turn that out.
So yes, let's pause from drag and get to know you on a personal level. Some of your favorites, things you like to do. What would you consider your favorite color if you have one?
Red.
Red. Any specific reason, or is that something you just grew up on?
I grew up on blue, but I
Oh.
started to fall in love with red in my adult years, because I just love the way it looks on my skin.
Mm.
I love the way it looks on me, and how it pops. So red would definitely be it, because I like the way I look and feel when I'm in that color.
Aside from your birthday, what would you consider your favorite holiday to celebrate?
My favorite holiday to celebrate, I like Christmas.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
are you a decorator, the tree, the outside the house?
No, but
Oh,
I think, but no, I'm not. But I like Christmas because it would always bring family together.
family. Okay,
So
perfect,
that
perfect.
that's what I liked about it. But now I will be, as I'm in my older years, I will be a decorator and all that, because I'm in a townhome now, but I plan to purchase my first home on next year. So I'm gonna do
Oh,
all that stuff.
congratulations. Okay,
Thank you.
gotcha. Housewarming.
Yes.
Favorite season. What season could you live in all year long if you had to?
Fall. I hate
Okay.
being real hot and I hate the cold. So
Okay.
like right after the summer, when it starts, when the leaves are like orange and it's like 75,
Mhm.
74, the fall, the autumn. This is my favorite. I would say that season.
We know you to be a very calm individual, but we know you. Everyone has a side to them. So, would you have been Team Martin or Team Malcolm?
Um, Martin.
Okay. Still smooth and still peaceful.
Hmm.
Okay, gotcha. Any celebrity that you would want to be best friends with, who would he or she be?
Best friends with any celebrity, I would say Taraji.
You know what? We've had Taraji from other couple of guests said her before. What is it about Taraji that y'all like?
Taraji told her story. Taraji got to LA. She only had $700 to her name. And she just said that she refused to not make it. You know, someone like that I would love to be close with so they could share that with me, you know, and share their story and their journey with me. So
Right.
I think that and being that she started like that, I think that she's probably a really good person, a really humble person, and she gives other people chances and see things in people that other people don't because they don't have because they she sees herself in them.
Gotcha. We know you to be some one of those guys that are good with looks and fashion. So if you had to choose any decade that had the best fashions, what decade would you choose?
The '70s, man, the '70s was bad to me. The
Mhm.
'70s, those wide leg pants, those vests, the fringe, all the type of stuff. I really love that era.
You know what's so interesting about the 70s or the 60s today? It's like then those men, because that was our dad's eras and stuff, those men were
Mm-hmm.
able to be as free and wear the wide legs and the tights and stuff and not be picked about or called gay. Now when you
Right.
do it, it seems like that's reversed. I thought it was always interesting because then it was more frowned upon to be gay or whatever because in the black,
Absolutely.
that's just so weird to me. But yeah, okay, the 70s, gotcha. Who's your favorite designer? Met Gala's coming up, so who would you say you love the most?
I'm a classy gentleman, so I would say Versace.
Okay. And I want to dig
Gucci
deeper
and
later on
Versace.
about the classy thing when it comes to male leads, but we'll get to that in that segment. What is
Mhm.
the first thing that you're packing when you're about to travel?
My toothbrush.
Okay.
Because I spent a lot of money on my teeth. So the first thing I think about is like brushing my teeth.
Oh,
So my
okay.
toothbrush. That's the first thing I make sure I got is my toothbrush.
Growing up, what was your favorite television show to watch?
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Okay, yes, gotcha. Did you like the reboot?
No.
I hate all of them, and I don't want them to
Yes,
get
I don't
real at
like
all.
reboots. I don't like reboots. Like you leave the classics alone.
I
But I
agree.
mean, that's just how I personally feel. But I guess we have to, get with the times. But I just prefer them to leave certain things alone. Like just
Mhm.
yeah.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh my goodness. Of my entire life, just one
Yes.
movie.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have to go back to my childhood. Then it will be The Last Dragon.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No. I don't think I do.
So if anybody's watching The Last Dragon, it starred Vanity and Timex. I had the biggest crush on that man. I was in love with that man.
Okay.
So it would have to be that one because that was my first crush.
Okay.
So The Last Dragon would be my favorite movie of all times. I can
Mhm.
still watch it now because it was a bully in there named Show Enough, and then it was Leroy. If anybody knows it, maybe some of my fans may know what I'm talking about. Who was back in that era when
I'm
they
gonna
said
look
that
it
was
up when we get
Dragon.
off. So I'm gonna look it up and
Okay,
see what you're
yeah.
talking about. You grew up in the era of boy bands. Who's your favorite boy band group of the '90s,
Boys
early
to
2000s?
Men. Boys
Okay.
to Men.
Mhm.
Absolute favorite. And everybody always told me I look like Sean Stockman in high school,
I
in
can
school,
definitely
up
see
until
that.
school.
Yes.
They was like, "You like Sean Stockman?" I said, "Hate that," cause I already know I always had these long faces. And Sean
Mhm.
Stockman had this long face, like you got that long face like Sean Stockman. I was like,
You're so silly.
so
What
yeah.
is your purpose in life if you found it, Neo?
I honestly, some days I don't know if I found it, but if I had to answer that, I would say that my purpose in life is to help others, and inspire others in some way. As mean and as shady as people may think I am, I'm a very loyal friend. I'm a very loyal friend and son and a family member. So I always strive to help the ones that have proven themselves to be loyal to me.
Mhm. Okay. All right. If you had to come back on Earth as an animal, what animal would that be?
It's got to be something big that can't beat me up. No, I got to be something big that I can beat up everything. Um, I probably, I probably would come back as my zodiac sign, a lion.
Okay, yeah. I mean, nobody's gonna really want to wrestle with a lion or a tiger.
No, no.
Okay. If you could plant a bed of flowers, what flower would you like in that garden?
Yellow roses.
Oh,
Uh,
beautiful.
because those were my grandmother's favorite flowers, and it
Mm.
was her favorite color too. So whenever
Growing
I see those,
yellow roses, beautiful.
yeah,
Growing up, what was your favorite cereal?
fruity pebbles. I have some right now in my pantry.
I cannot eat them when they
You
get
gotta eat them
wet.
fast, girl. You gotta eat them fast because they get
Oh, they
soggy in
be.
like
I
two
hate that.
minutes. They get
You gotta
soggy in
eat them
2 minutes.
fast.
You gotta eat
Or
them
what you do
fast.
is you can't put as much milk in them, so you have to
Exactly.
eat them
Exactly.
fast.
You
Are
gotta
you
eat some.
waffle?
You gotta eat some of them dry and crunchy.
Yes. Are you waffle or pancake?
Both, but if I had to choose, I would say waffle.
Sausage or bacon?
Bacon.
Grits or oatmeal?
When I
Oh,
use
go
when
ahead.
no bacon because I do turkey bacon. I don't eat pork, but bacon.
Bacon. Okay. Grits or oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Okay, gotcha. So I hope y'all were able to get a little bit of insight of things that he likes. Send
Yeah.
him some roses and all of that good stuff. Neil, let's talk about families. You
Okay.
are part of a lot of families. You are
Mhm.
part of the Dupree family, the Braxton family, the Dickerson family. How did we understand how you became a Dupree through Stanisha in Memphis? But talk to us about how you became a Dickerson as well as a Braxton.
I became a Dickerson actually. Morgan, she's online. You said Memphis is in the house.
Yes.
She won Miss Ebony Newcomer in 2003, and when she won the contest, she had come. She met the money, and the money became her dad. And she said, "There is a boy." She said, "There is a boy in Memphis that you need to make your child."
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Neo. Da da da. And so how this happened was so just a little history. When I started doing newcomer pageants in 2001, I won my first 11 pageants straight.
Mm.
I was 11 and 0. I won everything in Memphis. I won everything. And then I got ready to venture out. Actually, I never lost a newcomer pageant, actually. My first pageant that I lost was a bar title when I stepped up. It was
Mm.
Mr. Club Paragon was the first pageant that I ever lost. Um, so at the time, me and D Demorris, he was mad at me about something. And me and Malika, we went down to Ebony Sinclair's pageant, New Attitude at the time. It was Club New Attitude in
South
Greenville.
Carolina. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So this was my first time venturing outside of Memphis, and I was on my way down there, and the money was judging the pageant,
Mm-hmm.
and this was before he became my child, before he became my dad,
Right.
and Demoris called down to Carolina. He talked to the money, and he said, "If Demoris would be laughing right now if he was alive to hear this, he's probably laughing now." He
Mm-hmm.
called the money and said, there's this little boy coming down there, and he is so arrogant and cocky now because he's won all these pageants, and he just think he is just the shit. Get his ass.
Oh.
Get him because he need to be taught a lesson, because he
Mm.
just need to bring him down a notch. So,
That's still
and,
happening today.
right, right, right. So anyway, the money was like, he said, I just told the Morris, okay, okay, whatever. So I came, I competed, I won, and um and you know what? Just I don't know if Devon Dickerson is watching this. My brother Devon Iman Dickerson Diamond. He uh he competed against me, and we both sang live for talent, and he won talent. I was like,
Mm.
girl, what?
Well, he can't sing.
Not better than me, but my
Oh.
brother, he could sing whatever. He sung
Mhm.
gospel or something. It probably was they probably felt bad judging gospel or
Yeah,
something. I don't know
church.
what he sung.
Church. Church gonna.
Yeah, child, terrible. So anyway, um after the pageant, the Morris called the money, and he was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "I couldn't get him. He was clean. He was just too clean. I couldn't get him." And then the Morris said, and then I look up 2 weeks later, the bitch your daddy. so so after that. The money became my father. So that's how I became a Dickerson, and actually was the first Dickerson
Mm.
under him.
How's
So,
that journey been for you? I want to get to Natasha, but how's that journey been for you as a Dickerson male? So is it
my
pressure? Is
my
it a
my
lot
my
of
journey
pressure
my
for you?
journey has my journey has been amazing
Mm.
overall. I feel that I've represented my family in the best way. I
Hmm.
feel that I have put the Dickerson name on the map.
Hmm.
Being the first Dickerson to win Black Universe. That was a big moment for me. I was 27 years old. I knew
Right.
nothing. So I was extremely young. I started doing pageants at 21, and I went to Black Universe for the first time when Aja and DeAndre won in 2004. And I
That
said,
was my first
"Oh,
time too.
that was my first year." And I said, "I'm gonna win this." I said, "I'm gonna win this." And my
I didn't
friends
say
was
that.
with me. They was like, "Child, please."
That one.
3 years later, I won. In 2007, and the one who said "Child, please" was at the end of the runway, boo-hoo crying, saying how sorry they were for saying that.
Oh, that's good that you said that, and 3 years later you won. That is
Yeah.
a good. So talk to us
Yeah.
about Mother Lady V.
So Lady B was it really just fell becoming a part of the Braxton dynasty fell right into my lap because Demoris was at the time mom was going back and forth. She was competing for USA. That was her USA era.
Mm-hmm.
And she was getting ready to go back. And D was going to do her talent. So I had to go to Memphis. So D asked me to could Natasha ride with me to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And on that ride to Memphis, we just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the rest is history. The rest is history. That's how I became a Braxton in that time. And I didn't use the name for so many years only because I just never been the person that really liked a lot of names. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like they meshed well together. Dickerson and Braxton, it just didn't kind of mesh well. So I was doing like
Mm-hmm.
Neo B, or whatever. And then mom was like, well, wish you would use, the
Use
name
my name,
sometimes
yeah.
too. Exactly. So now I just say it all. And because if it makes my mother happy, that's all that matters to me because she is, my chosen mother. But she's nothing shorter than amazing to me. She's my best friend, my confidant. She's always there for me.
Right.
So if that's what's going to make her happy, then so I do it.
But you said you had told us that Stanisha got pulled over, but you didn't tell us that y'all had got pulled over on that trip too.
Did we get pulled over? I got a ticket shot. I was speeding. I be speeding.
Okay, keep on. We're gonna get you.
Yes, so yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I got a speeding ticket
Yeah.
that on that trip. I
Yeah, she
did.
just put in the comments that y'all got stopped by the popo.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Tell her to stop telling my business.
listen, this what they do. This what they do. They gotta keep me.
Wow. Look, mom, really?
Yes, really. So what I'm gonna do is, before we play the naming and claiming game, I want to talk to you about a topic that a lot of our male leads and some of our girls have to deal with. Let's talk
Oh,
about love life as an entertainer.
okay.
How has that been for you, Neo? So you came out as 21, or you started competing as 21, came out in 19, I think you said 99, oh one was
I,
your first time competing. So you've been
correct.
around, not around the block, but you've been around a long time.
Yeah.
How has love life for you been since you are somewhat of a celebrity in our community?
Overall, honestly, unsuccessful.
Okay.
Unsuccessful, to be honest. If I have to be extremely real um with my fans and friends, it's unsuccessful because it's so much temptation.
Mhm.
Um, it is so much time away from your loved ones. So it's temptation on both ends because they're lonely, you're away, you get all this attention. In the beginning it was really unsuccessful for me because I wasn't used to all of the attention. So um flirting a lot, getting boys numbers, texting, all kind of stuff. So it was, for the most part, it was unsuccessful. Uh now where I am, I think that it would be better because I'm more stable in all areas of life.
Mhm.
And now I know that, this is something that will be coming to a close in the next few years for me. So that would be nothing that I would have to that my partner would have to worry about as much anymore.
Okay, gotcha. So you,
Mhm.
so basically, what you're saying is you've matured in that life, so you know what it is.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely, yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. You are a Delta. Is it Delta or American?
Delta. I started with American,
Okay, so
and
how
I
is
left.
that? It seems like everyone is a flight attendant now. What made you want to venture into that career?
Um, yes, everyone is a flight attendant now. Uh, um, to venture that. So this leads me. Can I go back a little?
Yeah, this is
So
yeah.
so
Go.
so so I always wanted. Um, I wanted to be a flight attendant since I was about maybe in my mid 20s. But me and D, when I say D is my everything. He started me, and that's what I used to call him my everything, because me and
Mhm.
D actually started off to call ourselves trying to date. I
Oh,
was when I
oh,
was not when I was 19. Okay. And I realized I didn't want to be with D, so I broke up with him. He was crying and everything. And child, that boy was crying and snotting and everything. And we laughed about it, but we became the best of everything. Became best, like literally like
right.
thick as thieves. So I went through my stunt era where I wanted to try to write checks
Okay.
and do returns, all that. I've lived that life, and I got in some trouble, and it hindered me for years because I was young. I had never ever been to jail before. It was the first offense. I got in trouble in Mississippi, and they literally tried
Oh,
to hide me down there. Oh my goodness,
the wrong state.
Tupelo, Mississippi, Lee County. Okay, um, got caught trying to write a check for a TV. I had got out the store. I had already wrote one check. And this particular day, me and D went to Tupelo and we racked up. When I say we had wrote checks from top to bottom, we got everything we wanted. The last check I tried to write, being greedy, I got caught.
Mhm.
And then I went to jail. Uh, got felony on my record that I could not get expunged because I waived my rights in jail, not knowing, because
Not knowing.
the people that were interrogating me scared me to death. Told me that if I didn't sign this, I was never gonna see my family again. All this kind of stuff, and I had never been to jail before. And these were middle-aged white guys telling me this
Right.
in Mississippi. So I'm terrified. I just wanted to go home. At that point. So I was in jail for that. I was in jail for 32 days there.
Mm.
It felt like a lifetime, and I made a vow that if I got out of there, I was not. Child, you should have saw me in that jail cell. They separated me and D because the security officers came through there one night checking, just to check on the inmates, and I was laying in the bed. D was like holding me because I was so terrified. I'm laying in the bed in D's arms crying because I wanted to go
Mhm.
home. And I was
Mm.
like 21 years old, and they separated us and everything, threw me in another cell with another guy. It was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life. And I'll never forget that there was this one guy named Jerome, wherever he is. He told me, he said, when you get out of here, he was a black man. He had violated his parole. And he told me, he said, when you get out of here, don't look back. Don't ever come back here again. Ever. And at the time he would have been in his 40s. So now he's an easy mid 60s now at this
Right.
point. And he was like, "Don't ever come back here again," and it just always sticks in my head.
Hmm. And so you took that and became or ventured into flight attendant. Is that how
And
that happened?
oh yeah, so that's what we're going back to that. So with that, so with becoming a flight attendant, I wanted to be one, but at the time, Delta would not hire me because of my record.
Mm.
So I took a lot of oh my God, Morgan to tell you, we worked at Wendy's together, child. We didn't flip burgers, and I didn't start it from the complete bottom. Then I finally elevated. I was a worked in hotel for a while,
Mhm.
and then I got married in 2014. And my spouse at the time was military, which moved me out of Memphis. So that's how I got out of Memphis when I married. And then I moved out of Memphis to Carolina, and I got a job working on the base at the lodging, which is the hotel there. And I got fired from that job. And Reggie Hobbs, at the time, we were talking a lot. And I called Reggie and I said, it was in 2016. I said, Reggie, I really I want to try to, become a flight attendant.
Mhm.
And he was like, well, why don't you try? I said, I just think my record is gonna hinder me. It has all these years. I just don't think they're gonna hire me, you know. He said, well, nothing beats a fail but a try.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so when I got fired from that job, I got hired at Holiday Inn. And on the first night, I was by myself because you got to go through training. You got to
Mm-hmm.
shadow somebody for like a week or two or whatever. So the first night I was on night audit, a guy came in, a flight attendant came in because he had just came in the airport late. He's the first thing he said. He walked up. He said, "You are so handsome." I said, "Thank you." He said, "You look like a flight attendant." I said, "Really?" And his name was Brandon Banks, and he said, "We're hiring." It was PSA Airlines, which is owned by American. He said, "You should apply." And I told him my situation, and he said, "Just be honest with him and tell him the truth."
Yeah.
He said, "How long ago this been?" I said, "It was in 2001." He said, "This 2000." He said, "This is 2016." He said, "Just tell him the truth. It's old. Have you done anything since then?" I said, "No." And he said, "Just give it a try." I applied for that job. They called and told me that there was going to be a cattle, like a open call for interviews in Charlotte. I drove up,
Mm-hmm.
and her name was Candace Cassadine. Do you remember her? She just passed away recently of cancer. She
I don't.
completed so she was a flight attendant. He was a flight attendant with American. I drove up and stayed the night at his house. I went to the open call. I got the job. I got the job as a flight attendant with PSA.
Mm-hmm.
So halfway through training, they wanted they pulled me out of class. I thought they were going to fire me because they pulled my background up, and I was just honest about it. And the rest is history. So when I knew that when I got that job, that I could go on and become a flight attendant where I really wanted to be, which was Delta.
Okay. So is that the career you'll most likely retire out
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave Delta.
of? Okay.
No. Now there are other things that I want to do, but I
Mhm.
would still keep Delta.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Hmm.
shouts out to all the flight attendants, whether you're Delta, Southwest, American Airlines. We love the cookies and we appreciate everything that you do. So we are at the hour mark. I always say an hour, it never does an hour. So we're going to play the game. And I don't know if you've watched in the past, I'll throw out a name or a place or a thing, and you give me the first thing that comes to your mind
Okay.
when you hear it. Yes, you can explain it briefly on why you chose that word. So let me start with something easy. What's the first thing Mother of Memphis. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear, see, or remember Tanisha Cassadine?
Makeup.
Okay. Okay. Did she ever paint Trinity?
No, she never got around to it.
Okay. Did she ever paint Neo?
No. No, no. Yes, she did. She took a powder puff and patted my face one time and told me I was shining.
Oh,
That's
okay.
about it.
That's my baby. Okay, so you remember makeup. Okay, do you remember a time other than just makeup with her? Maybe something she has ever instilled in you, encouraged you with.
Well, yeah, Tanisha showed me without showing me that you don't always have to be the prettiest girl in the room to be seen.
Hmm.
I've
Okay.
always kept that with her, and she would always say that.
Do you feel like she was giving her just due while on Earth?
Not in the beginning, but towards the end, she was making them know it.
Okay, gotcha.
I felt like towards the end, they had no choice but to give her just due.
Okay. Shouts out to Tanisha. We do miss you.
Hmm.
Number two, your son, Bill Taylor, Mr. Ebony Newcomer. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of him?
My bodyguard.
So he's a roughneck.
This is my bodyguard right there. Nobody will ever mess with Daddy when Bill's around. But
Oh, okay.
he's extremely loyal and loving son. That's my baby.
Hmm. Where do you see him in the future? Following your footsteps, or do you think that he'll eventually just say, "Hey, I'm done"?
He's gonna follow my footsteps.
Okay.
He's gonna win the things. He's gonna win most of the things, if not all the things that I've won, or
Okay. Shouts out
maybe
to
more.
Bill. He's a very,
Mhm.
very mannerable man. At least the interactions I've had.
He is a very good baby, but
Yeah.
don't play with him
Well, yeah,
though. Don't
I've
play
heard
with
he
me.
got.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Thank God I don't have to worry about that. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Naomi Michael?
um, I would say the first thing that comes to my mind with Naomi Michaels is um regret. Only because I regret that we didn't have the relationship that I wanted us to have. Um, as king and queen, it just wasn't. And So it would have to be regret because
Mhm.
everyone knows that with my when it comes to my queens and things like that, I spoil them. You know,
Mhm.
and I love to be as one. I love to be that power couple. So I would have to say regret because I regret that we just did not we didn't hit it off.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Um, has the relationship been repaired?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say, but there is um a sense of respect when we're in the court, we're cordial.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. Okay, shouts out to Naomi, your Black America queen.
Mhm.
4, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of, let's see, Tatiana Braxton, your grandmother?
That's that's mother.
Hmm.
When I think of Tatiana, I think of the matriarch, the one who started the Braxton dynasty.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you follow the fit that makes the fashion?
absolutely.
Okay, got you. Number 5, you were very controversial in this. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think, see, or remember your Black America winning sportswear, or the sportswear the year you won, rather? It was a very controversial sportswear.
It was that sports. Well, so the first thing I think about it is fear because I wanted to step outside the box. Um, so I called Benny. And I asked him, I said, well, no, I told him, I said, well, I want to be out of the box. This is my third time, and I want to do it completely my way.
Hmm.
Because the first 2 years I listened to everybody. When I got ready for Black America, the year that I won, I didn't tell the money. I didn't really tell Natasha. I didn't really tell anybody what I was doing because I felt like they were going to try to talk me out of it.
Hmm.
So Savannah really kind of talked me into this sportswear, and um, I said okay because it was something I felt like was going to be a good gimmick and it was going to change things up and all of that. Um, so the word that I think of is fear because I was extremely terrified up until the moment I walked out in it.
Gotcha. Okay. Cameron says he didn't know it was controversial. You know, Cameron always has something smart to say. It was controversial because it
Always.
was not the norm with the males for sportswear. It was. I think you were kind of the beginning of that edge out. Weren't? Would you say that?
I think that I
I
was the
think you kind
beginning.
of started the
Uh-huh.
coming out of the norm. We'll say that.
Yeah. So when I see those when I see those looks and stuff now, I just smile because
Mhm.
I feel like I kind of stuck my neck out so that everybody else could do so that others could do that, like the little teapot.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we say that, Cameron. We know you're used to your boring sportswear. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Silky O'Hara Monroe?
Spoiled.
Did you do that to her?
I think she's spoiled anyway. But I definitely handicap. I definitely made it worse and handicapped her because
Okay, gotcha.
literally when we're around, she does. She wants to. She doesn't even want to breathe on her own. What if she like? She like. She like baby breathe for me.
Okay, got you,
So
got
yeah,
you,
spoiled.
got you. Number 6, well, 7, Incognito. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Home because that's where I came out, and that was my favorite club. So that would definitely be home for me.
Hmm. And you were on cast there, correct?
No, I wasn't on anything incognito. I just loved that club. It just
Mhm.
was just where I started at. I didn't get on cast and all that till we got around to Club Illusions.
Okay, Club Illusions. All right. What's the first thing that comes to your mind the night you won Mr. Black Universe? Number 7.
Me running past Natasha and India to my Memphis friends, and they were standing right there like and I ran right past them and ran to my
Hmm.
Memphis friends, and they still talk about that. And she'd be like, we was like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
So, but it was just it was an overwhelming feeling because I did not expect to win the contest.
Hmm.
So I was extremely overwhelmed. That would be the word, overwhelmed.
Hmm. You didn't expect to win, but you kind of knew you could win, though, right?
I knew that I could win, but
Hmm.
back then in our minds, especially from the smaller towns like Memphis and stuff like that, we just were like, we watched Tandy's journey with Black American stuff. It just seemed like it would just take us longer.
Hmm.
We probably could, but it would take years.
Hmm.
And Lord knows that I wasn't expecting to in that time I honestly wasn't expecting in that moment to be crowned over the Alphonse Dupree. This is
Right.
someone that I looked up to.
Right.
This is someone that D told me to watch because
Hmm.
of how smooth he was and how debonair he was, which he still is, and it's my big brother. And so I was completely overwhelmed. I was flattered, but if I have to say one word, it would be I was completely overwhelmed.
Okay, overwhelmed. 8. The biggest Mama Don, the grand ruler. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Katrina? Hurricane.
Um, 5-star chick, because that's her name. And she's Memphis ride or die to the end. So whenever I think of Katrina, I think of 5-star chick.
What is
Five
this
star.
she's talking about, y'all? You left the group. Tell us about that right quick.
So Katrina always said that we would escape, and
Oh, and she was
so
Latasha.
yeah.
Okay.
So when I left, when I moved away from Memphis, she said that I left the group to go solo.
So you couldn't have been Diane. Y'all could have been the Supremes or all the other
Uh-uh.
groups, Patti LaBelle and the
We
Bluebell.
escaped. She was, and so this is the really running joke. So whenever I'm getting for talent, she said, "Bitch, for talent, you just need to sing, kick off your shoes and relax your feet." She said, "I'm just gonna dance behind you."
Right.
So
Okay.
that was the running joke with that.
Okay. Number 9, Benny Mosley. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Benny Mosley. Honestly, I would have to say that Benny, is
Hmm.
a blessing to me. He is the one who uh, is responsible for helping me get my career with Delta.
Oh, okay. Shouts out to
So
Benny.
so 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 that's something that I will always remember him for. Yeah.
Okay. What's the first thing, number 10, that comes to your mind when you think of competing at Black Gay Houston last year?
Um, disheartened,
Okay.
disheartened
Hmm.
by the comments and the scores that I received from certain people. I
Okay.
was a bit disheartened.
Okay. Would that be something that you would venture back to in the future?
Absolutely not.
Okay, gotcha.
No.
I have a bonus. You've mentioned him a lot through this interview, and I know that he meant so much to a lot of people, even myself, by having me come to Memphis sometimes and perform. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think or you remember D? Superman.
Um, practice. 'Cause when I first told him that I wanted to compete, he made me walk up and down the hallway of his apartment. He had a long hallway. He made me walk. He cut on music and made me walk up and down the hallway as a male because I started off as a girl, wanted to be a
Mm-hmm.
girl. So he made sure that I was walking and modeling more masculine. So that's the first thing is practice because he said if you're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that was the beginning of grooming school.
Okay. All right. So you an hour and 15 in. You comfortable now? You know you said you was nervous. You good?
I'm good. I'm
Because these
good.
this
I'm
last
good.
segment may razzle dazzle you, but,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it light on you. I ain't gonna be too controversial.
Okay.
Neo, you are noted and you could be deemed as one of the most debonair and smooth and model selling males in our industry. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay, gotcha. So tell us how it is that you are that way. Is again, we know that you just said practice, but what made you want to be the guy that all of these young guys, specifically last week when I posted your flyer, oh, we can't wait. I look up to him. I got so many inboxes saying thank you for finally, which is combats what you said, when is my turn. But how do you continue that base of being this masculine male in this era where we are trying to combat with femininity that happens and goes
Well, I just stay true to me, and
on?
I know that when I so with me, I feel like starting as a girl, I know what. the girl, what we look at as people that are looking at the girls, we're looking for femininity
Hmm.
in those women. Now, when you transform over to the male side, I do feel as though that we're looking for more masculinity
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
There is a difference. Now, do I feel that guys should be targeted or shunned upon because they are a little more feminine? Absolutely not, because
Okay.
we're gay males, and this is where we are supposed to be able to come to be ourselves and be comfortable. But
Hmm.
I feel as though if you are competing in a male competition, there has to be some type of masculinity, and some
Hmm.
people, some of them, they're missing that point.
Hmm.
I think that the reason I'm able to stay true to that again in this time and in this era is because it's already deeply embedded in me, and that's just who I am, and that's who I'm going to be.
So really quick, talk to one of those newcomer guys that may be watching now or watching the future that has happened to be going through that. They want me to be masculine, but I'm just feminine. I'm like Kendall just say, we just gay. How do they continue on that path when you go to certain systems that we know they say, no, you got to butch it up, but they don't necessarily know how to butch it up. What advice could you give them to stay or to continue on or to make a compromise?
So I would just tell them like this: anything that you want in life, if you go for it and you're not successful, you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to practice and rehearse what it is that you need to say or do to get what you want to get to where you need to be. So what I'm going to tell them is that they need to practice
Mhm.
because it can be done. Even though if you think that it can't. When I first started competing in pageants, I barely weighed 100 pounds. I was definitely viewed as extremely feminine, but the coach that I had didn't give up on me, and he made me walk and sway and do every. He would say, "Stop! No, 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 that's too feminine. Turn around, walk." So anyone that wants to enhance their masculinity, you can do so if you practice. It just takes practice. I think that in this generation, um, a lot of people, they don't practice because when you see them competing, they have so many fit issues and things fall
Mhm.
apart because they just put things on and walk out versus trying. I have a whole pageant at home. That's something that that my mother Natasha will tell you. My kids, Sequoia, Bill, all of my kids that compete, I have an entire. I cut on the music. I cut on Native New Yorker all day in the house. I have mirrors. I walk. I spin. I practice all my moves. This move with the hands, I did it the year that Xavier Cole won Black America, and I practiced it at home. I said, when I walk, I'm gonna be like, this is all I got. This is just me. This is me. So I walked out, and when I did the move, the building erupted, and the money, he was like, Shy Neal, and went out here and did the evening gown move, and the crowd then lost it, and just now when I see guys doing that now, a lot of them may not even know kind of how it stemmed from with that particular move, but that's something that I implemented, and I kind of took a little bit of what something I saw Alphonse do, and I made it my own. So I tell people that I take things and I make them, and I made it my own, and that's what I encourage you guys to do is take things that you see from us and make it your own. It doesn't have to be exactly like us, but again, you can be um, more masculine if you just take the time and get that practice and that coaching that I had. And sometimes I
Mhm.
know a lot of you guys aren't fortunate enough to have that, but it can be done.
And look at you, a little trendsetter. You know, started this thing. Now we can't get enough of it. They do it every week.
Yeah.
No, but the shouts out to the boys that are practicing, like he says. You know, there was somewhat, I have to bring it up, somewhat of a bit of controversy some weeks ago about maybe you are on the panels doing some things. Do you want to clear that up? Or are we moving on?
Oh no, we can definitely clear that up.
Okay, go ahead.
Mhm. So this whole thing about me cheating, I honestly don't know where it came from, to be honest.
Mhm.
Because my children will tell you, my kids, Sequoia, I judge my kids harder than I judge other people because they're mine.
Okay, Valencia.
So I would want them to get the hard critiques from me so that they're prepared, so that when they come across other people, that they're
Mhm.
polished and prepared.
Hmm.
Um, I would never knowingly or intentionally cheat anyone because I compete. And I don't like how it feels when I feel that I may have been cheated. And if anyone that is watching or feels that I've ever done them unjustly, from me to you, it definitely was nothing intentional, nothing personal, and I do apologize. I would even judge the person, that someone that I even didn't care for. I'm going to judge them fairly on the score sheets because I compete and I believe in karma. It comes back.
Yes, it does. It does. You stated that when you first started, you were 11-0.
Mhm.
When you got your first loss, how did that affect you?
I was hurt. I was hurt because I felt like my community at that time wanted to see me lose finally.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, because I actually felt like I still won that contest, but I feel like my community wanted to see me lose finally because they were tired of seeing me win everything.
Mhm.
So
What?
I felt a little hurt. Well, I was really hurt actually. I laid in bed because I was living at home with my mom at the time, and I was a pretty kind of spoiled kid. But I laid in bed about 2 days after that first loss. It wounded me bad. Yeah,
But it wasn't that you lost; it was that you felt like people were happy that you lost.
both.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
both.
why do you think our community does that? Why do you think that we will hype a girl or guy up? Oh, she's going to be this. And then when she is on a winning streak or when she has elevated or she's grown into this or he has grown into this person, why do we feel like the community has to humble them or happy when they lose or happy when something happens to them? Where do you think that comes
But
from, Neo?
insecurities
Mm-hmm.
within themselves, and it's people love to hear themselves talk. To me, they love to hear themselves talk, and it's always okay until it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's always okay until it happens. You're gonna be this, you're gonna be that, you're gonna be this. And then when they started winning that, they realized, well, damn, I didn't even won that. I can't even win this. So then there's a sense of resentment and jealousy there too.
3 years after you had came out, you had became Mr. Black Universe, or not 3 years, but 3 years after you had been to the contest. Did you experience any of that? That you had
Oh,
surpassed males that had been doing it for so long?
absolutely.
How did you
Yes.
handle that?
Uh, Honestly, in the beginning, I was a bit disheartened,
Hmm.
because it was I took a lot of backlash from people that I looked up to.
Hmm.
But looking back on that, no one expected the little country boy that didn't at the time. I wasn't known as a fashionista or trendsetter. I wasn't. I was a little country clean boy that wore thrift store stuff. Because when I won Black Universe, I didn't spend much money, but all of my things fit really well, and I knew how to answer a question
Hmm.
well, and I had live talent, and I
Hmm.
think that got me to the crown, um, in the end. But no one expected that from me, so it just, yeah.
Okay, got you. Why do you feel that our numbers are low? What's your take on it? There's so many variables, but what's your take on numbers in pageantry being low these days? If they
Fear.
are actually, because Sweetheart has so many numbers.
Sweetheart was very inspirational,
Hmm.
and it gave me a sense of hope again, when I saw the numbers. But certain systems the numbers low because of fear and the stigma around the contest and the reputation, uh, that the contest has, or what people assume that the reputation is.
Hmm. Okay. What is your take on outsiders who've never competed, never stepped on stage, doesn't know what it takes to do the things that we do, whether it's male lead or female impersonation, having so much to say after the pageants, or having so much to say about what should be done or what shouldn't be done when it comes to the art form?
They're irrelevant.
Mm. Okay.
Because in my see me, I don't um I don't I don't feed the fire. I don't fuel the fire.
Hmm.
I cut the oxygen off. I completely ignore it, especially when it's someone who's never done it, because they can't dictate or commentate on anything that they've never done.
Hmm.
in my personal opinion.
Do you think one can be studied in this art form to have a good opinion or no?
Yeah, over time, I think so. I think, I think that sometimes, they can study and know certain things, but still you're not going to know the full gist of everything if you've never hit the stage, if you've never walked out there in categories, or taken a loss, or taken a win, or anything of that nature. If you haven't done that in its full entirety, then there's still only so much you can say.
Since '01 when you started, what is one of the biggest changes that you've seen in male lead, whether good or bad? What's something that you noticed has totally taken a change?
That the guys sometimes make the contest.
Y'all do.
That the guys, we make the contest, and a lot of in the last few years, the pageant beat the boys.
I agree.
And that wasn't always the case.
I remember there was a time the boys would come out, you would go to the bathroom.
They'll
Now you
they'll
like,
be going to the
let me see what
bathroom.
he
Now
finna
they
have.
be
Let me
running
see.
back. They run back in the auditorium to see the boys now. Yes.
Yeah. How does that make you feel though? To know, do you feel like the male leads are finally getting to just do, or there's still room to grow?
It's always room to grow.
Okay.
Always room to grow. But I do feel like we're a lot further ahead than we were when I started.
Okay. Okay. What is the biggest lessons that you've learned being a male lead?
So one the biggest lesson
Mhm.
that I have learned being a male lead is that it's not as easy as it looks.
Mm.
Um,
Unpack
because
that.
if you're a male lead that takes, the craft seriously, it's gonna be just as tedious and just as difficult as a female impersonator. Because all the
Mhm.
things, all the components that they have to be successful, we have to have those same components too.
Mhm.
So
Do
it's
you
not as
think?
easy as it looks.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I was speaking with Naisha. I think Katrina may have been at the dinner too, and she was saying it should be a point to where I shouldn't. You should give the illusion that I don't want to misquote it, but I'm gonna just summarize it. That a person in the audience or a person walking the street should not have on the same thing as you eventually, as you're on the show. So I say that to say, how do you feel about male leads that are just coming on the show with just regular clothes and not giving you an illusion, a costume, or a look of that particular person they may be artistry?
Okay, so it's kind of a double-edged sword a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm not opposed to wearing just a nice outfit,
Hmm.
but when you're on stage, you should still embody what it is that you're doing. Far as your lip sync and all that type of stuff, that draws us into the entire look, into the entire ambiance of what you have on. Now
Hmm.
you have some people that tip around in nice things, like really nice things. I'll use for example, like Scooby West. I mean
Ooh.
Scooby Lord.
Hmm.
Scooby dressed very nice, on and off stage. So
Hmm.
sometimes his off stage persona and his on stage persona kind of resembles, because he hangs clothes very well on and off stage. So when
Hmm.
he puts on something, what's gonna determine, I mean, what's gonna distinguish the two is how he executes and embodies what it is that he's now doing on stage in front of us.
Mm.
I don't think
Got
you always have to be in costume or always be elaborate. But if you're a classic gentleman in the audience, you can still be a classic gentleman on stage, but you still have to add a little more juice to it. Some jewelry and some nice shoes, some nice a hat. Just you still have to differentiate. So I do agree with them.
it.
Being on stage and off stage should look different.
Okay. You have, I don't know if this is recently, but I know now you are on the sewing machines because Lady V gets a new dress every week. So tell us how that became. How did you want to now become a designer in making garments?
That really happened by accident. So what again, I said earlier that I got married in 2014 and moved out of North Carolina. So what moved out of Memphis to North Carolina. So when I got to North Carolina, I wasn't working at the time and my husband was working. And he was like, well, what are you gonna be doing here all day, until you find a job? I said, just give me a sewing machine. And I'm gonna just play around with the sewing machine. So he got the sewing machine, and I started playing around with it, and that's how I got started into doing that, and the rest is history. So I started sewing things. I went to the thrift store and I started taking apart things, and tracing it out and putting it back together. So that's how I started to sew, and I'm gonna kind of tell spill some more stuff. So several years ago, mom, the Natasha Braxton, the dress with the bow, all the drag and all of the elaborate stuff that she had, she packed it all up in storage. And when she went to pursue a career in the workforce in Florida, she left everything here in storage in Atlanta,
Mhm.
and the storage was lost. So her entire everything was auctioned off. Everything. So all she had was the clothes that she had with her, and then maybe it was something that she left at the house. So all of those dresses that everyone knows mom for and know in the past, it was all auctioned off because she
The
lost everything.
universe bow dress.
All of it was gone.
Well, she wouldn't have been able to fit it now anyway. But still, the point.
Yes, she would. Yes, she would. She
But
should be
I
able to
get what
fit
you're
it.
saying. But I see what
So
you're
she
saying.
lost everything. So one of my biggest motivations was to help her get her closet back.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I said, Mom, I'm gonna learn how to sew. I'm gonna teach
Mm-hmm.
myself how to sew, and I'm just gonna start making you stuff.
Yeah.
And to this day, that's what I do. And she still talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but that was one of my biggest motivations, is to get behind the sewing machine, was to help her get herself back, because she had lost her fire and desire to even want to compete anymore when she lost everything.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big thing. Um, you have a very very large resume when it comes to this industry. What? Be a little controversial. What system would you do over again?
What's this? What I do over again?
What
Um,
system would you compete for and would like to reign for over again if you had to?
Black America.
Okay. Which system would you not do over again? And it doesn't have to be because it's anything bad. Just I did it. I wouldn't go back.
Uh, that I wouldn't go back to.
Mhm.
I wouldn't go. Yeah, no, I would definitely want to go back to Black Universe. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't compete. I wouldn't compete for Duval again, because it was nerve wracking for me.
Why was it nerve wracking? Because it was so much.
Yes. I had just given up Universe,
Mhm.
and it was just the highs and lows. It's just I remember that was like my first page doing with the highs and lows. It just was I had just came off of a big rain, and I was like, I do not want to lose this contest. And I was just, and Sion, that weekend, Sion St. James in the contest, and he was coming for his things. He was coming for his
Mhm.
things, and he dropped the ball, and I slid in. He dropped the
See?
ball, I slid in.
Well,
So it would probably be Duval.
okay, shouts out to Rick over there at Duval. But those
Mhm.
highs and lows work for you because you're a consistent competitor.
Right, right.
So,
And
I
that
mean,
and that saved me then. But yeah, I've always been a consistent competitor, and I realized after Duval that I could win anything, whether they drop highs and lows or not, because I am consistent and I strive on fit and cleanliness.
I know that when you again going back to the 11 and 0, and you finally lost one. But realistically, has there ever been a male lead that you've been like, oh, I am not trying to wrestle with this person in the competition? Have you ever had that one person or that person?
Uh, Believe it or not, when I first started, when I first stepped, it was Monty. I was terrified of him,
Oh, okay.
because I really looked up to him, and he was Mr. Everything already, and so for him to be, competing, um, in some of the same contests that I tried to dodge him, but we've competed against each other about 3 times.
Have you been victorious over him?
Yes,
Okay, so see, there you go.
yeah,
Shouts out to Monty. Give me
yeah.
about 20 more minutes, Neo. 20 more minutes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
What would your
I'm good.
kids say about you?
What would who?
Your kids, your children, what would they say about you as a father, a parent, a mentor?
My kids would say that I'm there when they need me, for
Mhm,
sure. We may not talk every day.
mhm,
Um, we may not see each other often because of my career and their careers, but whenever they need me or whenever they call on me, I'm always going to be there, uh, tooth and nail for them. I'm a loyal parent. I love my kids with everything in me, and I do whatever I can to make sure that they're successful in any aspect of life.
What lesson that Natasha, Stanisha, Damani, and Dee, because he was a father figure to you, what did they teach you that you want to instill or you're instilling into all of your children?
Loyalty, you
Mhm,
know, um, to remain loyal to one another. And this community now, it lacks loyalty. It really lacks it. You know, and I want to instill into them and to tell the people that are watching that you have to remain loyal to someone. Your family or friend or something. Just remain loyal. It really changes things. And
mhm,
if you're not loyal, it can tear so many things apart too.
mhm.
And sometimes they're not salvageable, and it's life is just too short because things are torn apart because of disloyalty.
Do you think social media is ruining pageantry? If so, how or how not?
I do. I think so. I think that it contributes to ruining pageantry with the lives and all of the opinions that everyone can see instantly, posting score sheets and posting screenshots, and it's just a lot that people, just not even this community, but people love mess and they love negativity. You know that you could post something positive, you'll get 2 likes, but if you post something negative, you'll get 300 likes.
Mhm.
It's just how it goes. I do think social media does contribute to um, the detriment, yes.
Okay. How do you stay out of the drama and the mess when it comes to that?
I don't affiliate myself with it.
Okay.
I keep myself clear of certain people. I know
Mhm.
when mom had her interview, she would say that I always tell her that she gives people too much grace, and that's what I do a lot of times. I don't give grace a lot to
Mm,
people that are known for keeping up controversy and mess. I don't give grace to that.
right.
I stay away. I stay away from it because you're already showing me who you are. So I'm just going to believe in it and stay away. So a lot of times I avoid a lot of conflict and stuff because I just initially already am not affiliated. Stay away from
When you think back over your career these 20 plus years, what's the most you've ever spent on a pageant?
it. About $3,000.
Wait, all together?
Uh-huh.
What competition was this?
Black American. I spent maybe I spent maybe $3,500. Maybe thirty
That's
five
the
hundred
most
dollars.
you spent.
Because
So
I
how much
because
did you spend when you did Universe?
Lord have mercy, Jesus. I'm probably gonna get red for this one, but um, so the sportswear, it was it came out of a vintage, it came out of a high end thrift store. I bought the sportswear, but my brother had it at the time. His name was Onyx. He sold me that
Ooh,
sportswear for
I remember
fifty
Onyx.
dollars. For $50, I paid $50 for the sportswear, and then I bought shoes, and I paid $300 for the Versace glasses that I had on, and then I bought the Versace belt and all that. So that would have been about maybe at the time about $500. Um, my presentation Savannah made that was 400. My sportswear was $50. My formal wear I got from the same guy I got the sportswear from, that was $50. My shoes came from Aldo, which was the monies. He had these really nice black and white shoes at the time I put on. And for talent, I sang in something that I already had.
That's like what $1,500 at the most you just said. If I calculated that right, math
I
wasn't
did
that
not
bad.
spend a lot of money when I won Black Universe.
So you are the walking billboard that it doesn't take all of that.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how do you give language to someone that'll say, I gotta go to Julian for $5,000 sportswear. I gotta go down here for this suit. My talent gotta be 20,000 down, $1,500 for this and then the other. Do you feel like it takes that for certain people, or you just have to have that thing?
So nowadays it does take a lot more.
Oh,
Nowadays it takes a lot more, because the competition again, the boys make the pads, and the boys now are not playing. So you can't do what I did 20 years ago. 18 years ago. It won't work. However, you don't have to break the bank. And that's something that, Natasha and I and Demoney and even Dee would talk about. You don't have to break the bank, but you gotta go to the bank though. You gotta
you got
go.
you got to at least go when it's open.
You gotta stop by there. You gotta stop by there.
It was a girl that just
But you ain't gotta rob it. You know what I'm saying?
it was a girl
Um,
that just did Continental Plus, and she was talking on a live, and she said that she spent $20,000.
mhm.
I said, girl, that's just so much money. But I know some girls, some of my good girlfriends in the comments, they've spent that a lot of money too. Do you? So you do? Well, for us, it's a little different. I think that is totally different from us. But I'm glad to know that, guys, he did it without spending all that type of money. But again, you had a natural raw talent. You're very
That
small.
that
You have
that
an
helps.
eye, so it's a little
that
different.
that really helps. It was fit, it was
Mhm.
talent, and it was actually being able to overcome my nervousness and do very well in question.
Good. Speaking of question, it's being taken out of a lot of our pageants. How do you feel about that?
I think that I disagree with that because it really that's the category that that makes or breaks. Sometimes that could be the determining factor of someone winning or losing. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel that with that being taken out, it just allows. I don't know. I think it should be there. I because it also sharpens your competitiveness. It
Hmm.
sharpens it. You won't learn how to excel in that category if you're taking it away.
Or you just won't learn how to necessarily speak on a whim. You might be Miss
Correct.
XYZ somewhere and questions are asked and you don't know how to answer them because questionnaires were
Correct.
taken out because the
Because
owner said,
they're taking them out,
yeah,
and again, that's your practice.
yeah, that is your practice. We witnessed the pageant a couple of days ago with 11 entertainers in between a category. Is that too much for us these days? All the entertainment?
I think so.
Mhm.
Um, I think so because the we tend to get a bit um what's the word? I don't want to be offensive. No. So we tend to be we can't sit still long. Let's
Mhm.
just say that in the community. So when you have 11 entertainers in between a category, um, we get disgruntled,
Mhm.
we begin to, we get bored with all the entertainment. And quite frankly, I feel like we do ourselves a disservice doing that because most of the time the poor entertainers are performing for chairs because everybody's walked out,
Mhm.
depending on how the venue is set up. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that is too much for to expect the audience to sit through 11 numbers before the next category.
That's a lot. You're leaving at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I think what happens is
Yes.
is that it's so I they paid $60 and $50 and they can't even see a crowding because it's not like back in the day. We got to be to work the next morning or you got to travel back home. So it's just I think that systems really consider that in the future, especially when you have a lengthy number of contestants. Just run the
Yes.
pageant.
Mhm.
Neo, you can't come on here and I not ask you what's next.
So um, I have three pageants um, in my book, in my to do list,
Okay.
that I would like to complete before I bow out. Four actually, well, three to four. If I do three of the four or two of the four, I think I'd be satisfied.
If you're successful in the two of the four.
I plan to be successful in those.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that's the plan. The plan is to be successful because I'm at the age now. I don't want to. I can't really do many repeats because I want to. get to there's a certain cutoff point that I'm trying to
I
make.
agree. Okay. Are you able to disclose one or two of them?
King, King,
Okay.
Continental,
Okay.
Westland, and Sweetheart.
Okay. All four. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never been sweetheart.
No, everyone says that. Everyone says that. I've never competed, but I promised Miss Georgia and Candy for years that I was going to come, and I was actually coming this year, but
Mm.
I chose to set out. I chose to sit out for my family, which was Kevin and Keyshawn.
Yeah. Shouts out to Kevin and Keyshawn.
Mhm.
Um, how do you feel about sitting out? You know, I have two girls that I will not compete with because they're my sisters. I would
Mhm,
rather
mhm.
sponsor them and help them. Any other person, girl, let's go. But how do you feel about that? Because in the day, back in the day, they said we would get each other dressed and we would do that. How do you feel now about sitting out for a family member or for a friend?
It's just
Because
like
you
what you
just did
said.
it.
It's like it depends on who it is.
Uh-huh.
It depends on who it is, because it's some people that you just don't want to or not want to compete against.
Hmm.
Um, but like you said, anyone else goes. Now with Keyshawn and Kevin, for me, the both of them probably didn't have an issue with me with a issue per se with me doing it, but I know that they did feel a way when I did tell them that I was going to compete because they look up to me, you
Hmm.
know, and so I felt that in that moment I felt like the big brother that needed to step aside and allow them to have a shot at their moment. And I'm
Right.
glad that one of them got it, because if I never win anything else, Lord, I've gotten moments. I've
Yeah.
gotten moments,
Yeah.
So that was something that I felt that they needed more than me in that time. And I feel like if it's meant for me to go to get my sweet tooth, I'll have it.
Yeah.
I think that I have what it takes to still do it.
Hmm. And they end up being first and winner, so that was good.
They were the last two standing, so I was extremely proud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, is any of those four happening in 2026? Would only be
2026,
two.
2026, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we look forward to you getting back. I know that you just did Godfrey's and Black Bay Houston, so we look forward to you getting back to those four and possibly come up with a new antic on stage that will be taken for the next 20 years
I,
and reach.
I've been practicing.
Oh, you've been practicing something new?
So I've been practicing something new. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Listen, Mount Rushmore. So
Mhm.
what you do is give me four male leads that you would put on your male lead Mount Rushmore. They cannot be D or Damani because those are your fathers. So what
Wow.
they cannot, because that's obvious. That would be obvious. Who are the other four that you would put on your Mount Rushmore?
Not including myself either, just four
You
people.
can't include yourself. No, that was very conceited.
I mean,
I mean, yeah, but you've been on others, so that's a good thing. You've been on
I
others.
have. I've been on others
Yes,
Mount
you've been on
Rushmore. Okay.
a couple of males over there.
Okay. Um, of course, Monty.
Hmm.
Um, he's the blueprint for me when it comes to male lead and entertainment. Monty, um, Christopher Iman,
Hmm.
um, Monty Christopher Iman for me. Um, I would have to go with Neandre too because he's a lip sync assassin to me.
Hmm.
Nebo. So Monty, Chris, Nebo.
One more.
And if I had to choose one more, um, I would say
I'm surprised you had said one person, but I'm this yours. If you don't
um,
say him, I'm gonna say who it is.
okay. Monty, Christopher, Nebo, because I'm thinking someone who kind of has everything. So dance, and this one has me kind of puzzled because there's a few. So I'm gonna go with um Tim Bohar.
Oh, that was a good one.
Hmm.
That was a good one.
Hmm.
Oh, that was good. I thought you would have said Fonzie
Well,
as
Fonzie
one.
is, yeah. So when I I love me some Fonzie too, but I was trying to think because me and Fonzie kind of alike. Because when I think of
Right.
Rushmore, I think of someone who like embodies like kind of like well rounded, and Tim was very well rounded in his time. Nebo, he raps, and he does gospel well. Just anything he does well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
let's
yeah.
flip it. Give me three male leads that you see in this industry. They don't have to be newcomers, but up and coming male leads that you see will have longevity, such as yourself.
Um, my son Bill,
Mm-hmm.
Keyshawn, Gotti
Mm-hmm.
Ross, and um, longevity in this industry. Scooby.
Okay. Okay.
Once he finds his
His
niche.
footing. Once he finds his footing, it's
Hmm.
over. I agree.
Yes.
I definitely agree. I definitely
Mhm.
agree. Um, the last three I'll ask you, but legacy. When you're gone 50 years from now, what do you want Neo Braxton Dickerson, the little boy from Memphis, to be remembered as? Remembered for?
One that was one he would be considered as one of the most polished and smooth people on stage and could sell a paper bag.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
What is Bill's stage name? I'd be calling. What is his stage name?
Kaylin Kalan.
Kalan. Okay, gotcha. Kalan.
Mhm.
Um, is there anything before I ask you the last two questions? Is there anything, any topic? Because I know you were nervous. I don't know why you thought I was going to trip you up, but
Uh,
we don't do that over here. But is there anything that you want to clear up? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything that I didn't speak on these last 2 hours that you just want to indulge in
um, I
that you may
think
have
that
thought I would have brought up?
um maybe the fact that every time on for some reason on Baxter's Live, I always find my way into his dialogue. Um,
Well, I would have never brought that up, but
and to answer the question, I have no idea. So that I mean that's all I was going to say. I have no idea as to why I am always targeted there, but I have no clue. I guess it's a personal issue. I have no idea what it is.
oh, gotcha. Okay. What is one word that you would describe your life with or as?
My life,
Your overall totality. What would one word would describe your life?
mysterious.
Okay. So you think you're a mysterious person, or do you think we think you're mysterious?
I think a lot of people think that I'm mysterious. I think this interview may be the most many people have ever heard me say or know about me. I come off quite. I've been told several times I come off quite mysterious.
Yeah, I can.
Um,
I definitely agree with that. Even though I know you personally, I definitely
yeah.
can because you'll be one of those people that'll go in the hide it.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so that's I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, regrets. Before I ask the last question, regrets, redos, things in life, or maybe this industry that you wish you could have redone or not have done. Anything in life that you regret.
I regret ever trying to dibble and dabble in the wrong things that tarnished my record for so
Mm-hmm.
long. Um, I regret I regret not going to college out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that I wanted to experience, but I was just so distraught. And again, I grew up fast, so I had to help my grandmother. So it was a lot going on then too. I kind of regret doing that too.
Hmm.
And I regret not pursuing my singing career like I really wanted to when I
Hmm.
was younger too, because I got discouraged with it.
All of with those three things, do you don't feel like you could venture into them, especially college? That's something you could do online.
I'm definitely looking to venture into a couple of them. Definitely,
Okay. Okay.
college for one, and definitely singing as well too. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's not too late for that too.
Definitely not too late for that. So before I ask the last question, where can we see you? Are you going to be on the show anywhere? Are you judging anytime soon? You're going to be in the audience somewhere? Where can your people see the mysterious you in the
I'll
future?
my next signing will be at Duval.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to be a Duval. Okay. Do you
Hmm.
have a contestant?
I don't have a contestant. Actually, you know what? I actually do. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
My best friend is competing.
Who's your best friend?
LaBelle.
LaBelle Babyface. Okay. All
Hmm.
right. I will definitely I think somebody have a question for you. Hold on, because we do a lot of questions. I don't know if you're gonna answer this. Ask Neo, is he single? Oh, now I can be a matchmaker.
I am single. Yes.
He is. Well, he's watching, so look at me talking to the computer. He is. He is single. So okay. So let's unpack that. Are you open? Are you willing to date?
Right now, I'm just wanting to. I've been out of my last relationship for a little over a year and a half, and I've taken this time to really get to know me because I realized that over the last decade or so that I would always jump out of one relationship and right into another one. And I would be bringing in baggage from the previous relationship
Mhm.
and causing so much, unnecessary trauma and damage to the relate to my current relationship. So right now, I just think I'm just kind of doing some soul searching and working on me for right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another question is, y'all so messy. Who would you like to see be the next Mr. and Miss Black Universe? He's other stuff, guys. But okay, let's answer that. Who would you like
The-
to see be universe, I guess, this year?
of course, my mom,
Okay.
Natasha. I would love to see her be the next Miss Black Universe, and for the Mister Eric,
Eric Rainbow. Eric Rainbow.
Eric Rainbow. Yeah,
I
which
think
is a-
they should. I think that
which
they're
is
going
a
to end up winning together.
I hope
I just
so.
have
Yeah,
something like that. I think they're going to end
yeah,
up winning together.
yeah.
That would be a perfect couple to me.
I think so
Um,
too because they
yeah, and
already
then
have such an amazing relationship now.
yeah,
So I think
shouts out
it
to
would
Eric
be a
and
good thing.
Natasha. She's been on all night. Last question, Neo. You have given me 2 hours of great conversation. See, it was not bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
But I want to ask you, with so much going on in the world, going back to the first question, and you say social media and all these type of things, give us a positive nugget that we can take with us throughout the remainder of this week. It doesn't have to necessarily be towards pageantry. It could just be something that you abide by in life, period, that gets you through.
My mother always told me that it's really nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Mhm. Okay.
So I think that the nugget that I would like to leave with people is to practice being nice. And I know that in this economy, in this day and time, sometimes it's hard, but you will find that being nice, it does it helps to get you through the day sometimes, because when you realize that you're nicer, it makes you feel better. Even though when you're going through something, you have to realize that what you're going through isn't everybody else's issue. And I
Mhm.
think that a lot of times people tend to bring their issues onto people that have nothing to do with it.
Okay,
So
gotcha. All right. Well,
yeah.
I thank you, Neo. Again, this will stay up on Facebook for 30 days. People can come back and watch it. It's going to be on YouTube. I hope that I did not what you said, don't trip you up, don't put you
It,
in no
it, it
doubt.
was it was it was an amazing experience.
Yes,
I really thank you for thinking of me, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I actually feel a lot
absolutely.
better that I've talked, and I
I
also
learned
wanted
a
to.
lot about you. Okay, hold on. Your
Okay,
grandmother, well, whoever she is in the comments, and she said, nice. You nice? And you know who that is, right? You
who
know who
said
that
it?
is, right?
Who said that? Tati.
No, Rounder K. Smith.
Oh my goodness, the Evelyn. I'm not even thinking about grandma. Grandma, that witch.
She's gonna call me at comes from calling her at 12 o'clock last night. I said, go to bed, old lady.
Tell my evil grandmother I love her much.
She see
Um,
you. She on the comment. She in the
I
comments.
want to be just like her when I grow
Well,
up.
when are you coming to Renaissance? That wasn't in the four.
So I was supposed to be coming to Renaissance this past November, but after Black Universe, we took such a big hit with the loss with that. I was a bit mentally and financially drained, and I hadn't worked, so I needed to get back to work just to
Right.
clear myself because of if anyone knows me with Lavelle, with Eric, especially Natasha, my kids, when they lose, it's my loss too. And when they hurt, it hurts me. You
Mm.
know, and that was a tough one. That one hit hard. So I just wasn't in a space to compete for Renaissance. And I love Randall so much that where I didn't want to bring him something that I wasn't gonna give my all to. I wasn't completely in the space at that time because he doesn't deserve that. He deserves the best.
Yeah, like I was when I was his queen. So I
Yes.
definitely get it. He'll never have enough. No, but I definitely
But
understand that. I didn't know that about you though. I didn't know that. See, we're learning stuff. This is why we have these that when you are helping someone, you take on the loss with them.
oh my God.
I
If they're crushed, I'm crushed.
mm.
So however whatever emotion that they feel, it transfers to me, my
But let
love
me
letters.
ask you this though before we go, and I guess maybe this is a good thing. I wish it would have came up earlier because it would have flowed. But in that, in them being crushed, in them losing, not specifically your people, but just in general, not specifically in this year, but in them losing and being crushed, how do you navigate if they were crushed correctly, or like if they lost, if they really did lose, or if they were, it was taken from them? How do you navigate in between that to be crushed? Because if you lost, hey, you lost, we're going to just come next year. But if you should have rightfully won, how do you navigate that space of what's right and what's wrong?
So there is a a difference,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, a loss is still a loss. Even if you rightfully lose, it still hurts
Mm-hmm.
because you still were right there at it and you didn't get it, and it
Mm-hmm.
still can crush you even if you rightfully lost because it's like if that person wouldn't have came, I would have won.
Mm.
It's just how it goes. If these bitches wouldn't have showed up, I would have won.
Or not even that. If I would have wore
Or
this, or if I wouldn't have did
or
this, if I wouldn't have went down this runway this
exactly,
way, little stuff.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
um and when we're in those situations to where you have your loved one or your friend, and you know that they probably should have been victorious and they weren't, that crush is even deeper because it's like,
Mm.
why don't they want me? Like,
Mm.
what is it that I'm doing wrong? I just can't seem to figure this out. Like, I want everything else, but I just cannot figure this out. And that's where we have been at a time or two.
Mhm. Do you think you've been there this past year?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neo, and I'm gonna hit you up later.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
y'all
night,
so much,
everyone.
Neo. You have a good night and
You
take
too.
care and everything. We'll see you soon.
All right. Good night,
All right,
everyone.
baby. Bye. All right, guys. There you have it, Neo. He answered some of y'all questions. Um, Portia, no one said she didn't. But so yeah, that's that. We had a great time with Neo, and it was very good insight. Thank y'all for tuning in. Random, I'm glad that you was able to come in. Natasha and everybody that was on. So next week we will be on a Monday. I think this person she's performing for Cinco de Mayo. So we'll be on next Monday, okay? And someone said, can you invite Oris Mays? We did invite him. He said that he doesn't like to talk in public. But yeah. All right, baby. So we will go ahead and this will stay up. Y'all can go back and watch it. Thank y'all for always tuning in. I'll see y'all next week, next Monday, not Tuesday. Have a good night.